In this concept, we're going to talk about congruency of angles. Vertical angles are congruent, and we talked about vertical angles and types of angles, right? So vertical angles are angles that are opposite like this. So here, angles 1 and 2 are vertical angles. Also, angles 3 and 4 are vertical angles. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 3 is congruent to angle 4. Okay, so these two are equal, or congruent, say congruent, and 3 and 4 are equal, or congruent. Okay. In symbols, this is what we have. 2. If two angles are supplements of the same angle, then the two angles are congruent. Okay, so if angle 1 is supplementary to angles 2 and 3, then angles 2 and 3 are congruent. So if I could take this angle 1 and put it here next to angle 2 and have them be supplementary, meaning adding to 180 degrees, and if I could also take angle 1 and add it here next to angle 3 and then have them be supplementary also, meaning they add up to 180 degrees, then angle 2 and angle 3 then are congruent, right? Because if angle 1 and angle 1 are the same, then what's left has to be the same of 180. So 2 and 3, angles 2 and 3 will be congruent. Okay. So in symbols, we say angle 1 is supplementary to angle 2 and 3, so angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Third idea in congruency. If two angles are complements of the same angle, then the two angles are congruent. So this is very similar to the previous idea about supplements, right? Or supplementary angles. So if angle 1 is complementary to angle 2 and also complementary to angle 3, then angles 2 and 3 have to be equal. Okay? Because again, if I take 1, put it next to 2 to get 90 degrees, and I also take 1 and put it next to 3 to get 90 degrees total, so angles 1 and 1 are the same, and then 90 degrees and 90 degrees, are the same. So what's left after I take angle 1 and angle 1 from the 90 degrees here and the 90 degrees here, what's left has to be the same. So 2 and 3 have to be the same. Okay? Very straightforward. Last idea in congruency of angles. If two angles are congruent and supplementary, so congruent and supplementary, adding to 180 degrees, then they are both right angles. So think about this for a second. You can have two supplementary angles, right? So these two angles are supplementary. For example, angle whatever, 1, right, and 2, right? These two are supplementary, but they're not congruent because 1 is clearly greater than 2. Angle 1 is obtuse, angle 2 is acute, right? So they add up to 180 degrees. They are supplementary, but they're not congruent. Let's look at this combination of angles, for example. So you've got, let's call this angle 1, and let's call this angle 2, right? These are also supplementary, but they're not congruent because they are not equal. So now angle 1 here is obtuse, but it's on the other side, doesn't matter, but it's not equal to angle 2. They are not congruent, okay? They are not congruent, but they are supplementary. What is the only way to have two angles be supplementary and congruent at the same time? Well, they have to add up to 180 degrees and they have to be equal. So what is the number what two numbers add up to 180 degrees and are equal? Well, 90 and 90. These are the only two. Well, it's one number, right? So 90 degrees and 90 degrees. So now, if the angles are right angles, then they're congruent and supplementary. Okay? Very straightforward. Okay, so here we have some exercises. Please pause the video, work on these, and come back for the solutions. Okay, so for the first exercise, we need to find the value of x in the figure below. So we have 2x plus 3, and we have 73 degrees. And these are supplementary, okay, because this is a straight angle, obviously, 180 degrees total. So both of these add up to 180 degrees. So we can write 2x plus 3, right, plus 73 degrees, right, equals 180 degrees, right? So now we can say 2x plus 76 equals 180, right? I just added this 3 with 73. Again, just combining like terms. And then I have 2x equals 180 minus 76, right? Which is 104. So x equals 104 divided by 2. So divided by 2, which is 52. Okay, so x is equal to 52. Of course, we can always plug that in here to find the value of the angle. Keep in mind, this is the value of x, but the value of the angle is 2x plus 3. Okay. Next exercise. Find the value of x in the figure below. 4x plus 5 and 65. So these are congruent, right? Why? Well, because they're vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. So we can set them equal to each other, which they are, right? 65. So 4x, so subtract 5 from both sides. 4x equals 60, so x is equal to 60 over 4, which is 15. Okay? And this is it for this concept. See you in the next video.